Hi there, Michael here. Today's video is going to be a little bit different from my usual videos. I usually talk about audio stuff that is related to Dolby Atmos, Ambisonics, or immersive audio in general. Today I want to talk about a nifty little audio application that is actually targeted at audio producers of all shapes and sizes. What I'm talking about is a free iPhone application that turns your iPhone into a MIDI controller. So let's not waste any more time and get started. Before we jump into the application itself, let me briefly talk about why I am covering this. The application comes from Novonotes, a developer mainly known for its 3D panning plugin 3DX. I've covered that plugin many times in my videos. The company also produces a lesser-known application called SideRack, which allows you to bring in iOS audio plugins into a digital audio workstation on a Mac desktop computer. I've covered that plugin in the past as well, and I'm going to leave a link to that video in the description. SideRack works by connecting your digital audio workstation to an iOS application on your iPhone or iPad called Novonotes Duo. And it is now in this iOS app Novonotes Duo that Novonotes have added a little mini application that turns your iPhone or iPad into a MIDI controller. And that is what we will check out today. Novonotes Duo is available for free in the App Store, and you do not need a SideRack license in order to use the mini app. You just need to install Novonotes Duo on your iPhone or iPad and you are ready to go. And then one final disclaimer: while this is not a sponsored video in any meaning of the word, the developer had reached out to me regarding this mini application. They said that the application went a bit viral in Japan, but they were wondering why nobody in the English-speaking world took notice. Now, this is a problem I see with almost all Japanese developers, and that is that their English marketing material is often lackluster to the point of non-existence. If you go to the Novonotes website, for example, at least at the time I'm recording this video, which is at the beginning of December 2024, there is no mention whatsoever that this mini app even exists. And obviously, if it is not mentioned anywhere, people will not find it. But this is what I want to change today, so let's open up Ableton and use the Novonotes Duo application to turn an iPhone into a MIDI controller. Now, the first thing that we need to do in order to turn our iPhone into a MIDI controller is we need to connect the iPhone or the iPad, whatever you're going to use, to our computer via a USB-C cable. Now, be aware that the system is a bit particular in terms of what cable you're using. If for whatever reason what I'm showing you doesn't work with you, try out a different cable. Most likely it's going to work. So I'm going to connect that to my computer. Now, the next thing I would have to do is I would have to open up the Novonotes 2 application on my iPhone. Now, it turned out to be really difficult to film that. I originally wanted to simply grab the HDMI signal from my iPhone and record that for this video. This turned out to be not possible because of the connection I already have. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to open up the iPhone via the iPhone mirroring application. So just be aware that I'm going to work on my Mac, on my desktop here. However, you would normally do these things on your iPhone. So let's open up the iPhone mirroring application. Where do we have it? Here we have it. And that's going to connect to my iPhone. And then let's go over there. Where are we? Here we are. Let's open up the Duo application. Now, if you open it up, the first thing that you will see is you will essentially be greeted with either opening up the MIDI controller or the SideRack server. Now, in this video, I'm not going to talk about the SideRack application. I have a separate video about that. I'm going to leave a link in the description. All we are going to do here is we're going to launch the MIDI controller. So let's launch that. And you can then essentially tell if you want to say the setup instructions every time you open up that application. I have it set up like that, and let's press OK. And here we have the MIDI controller. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to register that MIDI controller with the Mac operating system, and that is done through the Audio MIDI setup application that you will find in the utilities. I've already started it up here. And if everything worked correctly, if everything kind of connected correctly, you will now see your iPhone as an additional device here in the device screen. And what you need to do here is you need to simply press the enable button, and that will enable the iPhone as a MIDI controller. So the final thing that I need to do is I need to open up Ableton, and I'm going to put on my headphones for that purpose so that I actually hear something. And in Ableton, I need to complete the setup. And in order to do that, I need to go into the settings. And in the settings under MIDI, I now need to add the iPhone as an additional input port, and I need to enable track, remote, and MPE. And that's really everything that I need to do. Now, this also can be set up for other digital audio workstations, and depending on the audio workstation, the setup process will be different. There are instructions in the application, in the Novo Notes 2 application, that you can follow, and it works pretty much for any digital audio workstation. Now, what I have here is simply I have an instance of Tune, because quite frankly, the init preset is such a nice one that I like to use that just for the purpose of demonstrating. And then you can use your iPhone as a MIDI controller. Now I'm going to once again use the iPhone mirroring up here. You would normally do that directly on your iPhone or iPad and just play by using your fingers and gestures. I'm going to use the iPhone mirroring up for that purpose. And it's fairly self-explanatory, right? So if you press a certain note, we are going to hear that particular note. Now, the nice thing is about the fact that you can actually access the pitch bend by kind of moving your finger from left to right. So you have quite a lot of expressive control, and in addition to that, you can also set up everything to use MPE. And in order to do that, you would go into the settings here and enable MPE mode, and then obviously you have to also enable that in your digital audio workstation, which is different depending on what digital audio workstation you're using. And that works actually extremely well. Once again, instructions are on the Novo Notes website. If you kind of go through the application, you will actually get a link to the instructions, and it's fairly self-explanatory, and it's really nice, and most importantly, it is completely free. Well, that's everything I wanted to talk about today. As always, if you have any questions or comments, either leave them in the comment section or join our free Discord server. An invite link is in the description. There are many helpful people there that can help you with almost any question you might have. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel to stay updated about anything related to immersive audio production. And with that being said, I'll see you all in the next video.